Chapter 3. Part 3. Arian was adept at noticing that Amma had gone white at the same time that many of the curious patrons began to escape. That was too risky a provocation. Agonuk stopped his walk and turned. Agonuk, no! Amma shouted. Arian, who knew the half-orc a little, knew that it was too late to stop him. From the group that accompanied Tamer, another woodcutter emerged emboldened, more enormous, strong, thick, with a large brown beard and a tattoo on his forehead that went down to his left eye. Tamer smiled. What he had planned was happening. I introduce you to Idian. He is going to be this year's champion in the tournament. Idian went out to meet the half-orc, throwing a blow aimed at Agonuk's face, but the half-orc dodged it in an agile way. At the same time, with his left leg he hit the big man on the side of the right knee. A dry crack was heard when receiving the kick. Idian screamed and fell to the ground. Agonuk grabbed his opponent's head and hit him on the right side of the neck with his elbow. To finish, another sharp blow, straight to the chin. Poor Idian lay on the ground, trembling as he drooled over a mixture of saliva and blood. The group that protected Tamer disappeared as if by magic, left alone in the presence of the half-orc. You choose champions worse and worse. It doesn't reach Imaka or the soles of his boots. Agonuk got on a par with Tamer. Tamer, angry, threw a punch that Agonuk dodged with a tape. Then with feline speed he flanked the woodcutter, grabbing him from behind. Tamer could not get away from the key made by the half-orc, who also squeezed his neck, leaving him breathless. While Agonuk brought his mouth to Tamer's ear and dug his fangs into his skin, causing blood to gush out. The man surrendered and Agonuk took the opportunity to whisper it in his ear. Listen to me well, even if it takes me a century to return. No one in Vale Nevodo is going to touch a blade of grass from that place. If something happens to that cabin or oak tree, I'll come back from hell itself to kick your ass. Agonuk, no please. Mistress implored the half-orc. The half-orc threw Tamer to the ground and he was helped by Amma. The woman was crying desperately. Enough of the two. By the gods! Agonuk separated himself from everyone and walked to the mare, mounted her. Arian worried about Tamer for a moment. In reality Agonuk had been very skilled, painful wounds, but nothing more serious than a large bruise that would last a few weeks. Agonuk rode out of Snowy Valley, exchanged a glance with Berlanita. The girl waved with her right hand to say goodbye to Agonuk, but only had a slight hand gesture from the half-orc as a response. Arian approached Amma, who was crying over a Tamer who lay unconscious as a result of the blows and the beer. Don't worry, it's okay. They never got along very well. He has always been provoking Agnew since they were children. Kush and Vanas quickly placed all the provisions on the horses. Anthra got on hers a little embarrassed. She was not used to fighting. Arian noticed that there was a certain normality among the rest of the town, and people were exchanging coins, some more smiling received them from others much less happy. Berlanita triumphantly approached her mother and Arian. I have won 3 very beautiful glass beads. Arian was surprised. Amma shook her head as she sat Tamer up, wanting to sit him on one of the benches in the square. It's very wrong to bet against your father. I hope he doesn't find out. Arian was confused, but it was the girl who clarified the situation for her. Ever since word spread that Agonuk was coming down to Vale Nevodo, people began to bet on who would win of the two, Agonuk or the potato champion. Damn half-orc, muttered Tamer as his group of companions ran to help him now with a good mug of beer. Amma left her husband with her comrades, walked towards Arian taking his arm. Amma spoke with a serious countenance to the surprise of the priestess. Take good care of it. He has too much power. I've known him since I was a child. Day by day he's more powerful and he's afraid. Arian observed an object that could be useful to him. He immersed the jewel in a bucket that contained a little water. After praying for a moment and closing his eyes, the jewel shone for an instant. Once the ritual was concluded, the bucket was given to the girl. Take Berlinita, have your father and his friend drink of this water and you will both get better. Okay. But I'll do that a little later. Arian looked at Amma, who accepted her daughter's idea with resignation. Berlinita is right, if Tama recovers too quickly maybe she will go in search of Agonuk. It's almost better that I continue to be confused at least until tomorrow. Arian said goodbye to the two of them. To Kush's haste, he walked hurriedly to get on his mule. The quartet left Vale Nevodo, where the half-orc was waiting for them on the outskirts with the face of few friends. They love you very much in Vale Nevodo. Tama is troll shit. One day. You've controlled yourself a lot. The magician congratulated him. Don't worry, you haven't seen anything, now comes the best. The way out was a curve to the right, just as they had observed on the outward journey. There was a rickety little house on a hill that controlled the area. On the porch of the house an old man was sitting on a well-worn rocking chair with a skinny dog sleeping next to him. The old man was wearing a red cloth hat and leaning against the wall of the house was a huge halberd, which threatened to fall under its weight. Their attitude was one of vigilance as when they first arrived in Vale Nevodo. On this occasion he was silent, but when he saw Agonuk, the old man began to rock more and shout furiously. Half-orc! You're a big scam. The most shameless mediocrity in the entire world. Everyone looked at Agonuk in surprise, who lowered his head and rode at a leisurely trot, enduring the downpour of expletives. I don't know how you've fooled other idiots for another one of your adventures. You're not worth a bucket of dirty water full of flies. The old man continued to say similar things while he had them in sight, and even though they were at a considerable distance, for more than 2 kilometers, they had to listen to expletives from the old man about the half-orc. I already said it from the moment you raised an inch, that boy is a scam. Half-orc. Ha! Semi-lurchers. It is what you are. Phony. You'll never amount to anything. Once they passed and stopped hearing the old man rant, Kush began to laugh. Agonuk, I see that everyone here loves you very much. The half-orc sighed. Old Janusai has been calling me mediocrity, a scam, and everything else he can think of all my life. Bye. Agonuk smiled resignedly. He's crazy, I've never spoken to him in my entire life, but whenever he's seen me he's called me everything. They heard a huge scream coming from the cabin. You're worthless. Old man Janusai kept shouting expletives from his rocking chair until an old lady came out of the hut to hit him on the head with a broom. Stop it. He's gone. It's never enough. I'm sure he'll be back. The weed never dies. At the same time he caressed the heavy halberd with his right hand, while the dog scratched his neck with one of his paws and then yawned and went back to sleep. Bring me the pipe. The old man asked the lady.